Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon video where we talk about whether you should buy it release or wait until things drop. This video will be structured in a way that I will separate things into the English side, the Japanese side, and the single side and the sealed side. Though my business is mainly in dealing with low-end single cards, for example, the reverse holo Pokeball cards from Japanese 151 for people to complete their binder. I do look at the market, and with how crazy Searching Spark is and probably the future sets, I think that this topic is a pretty important one if you are a fellow collector who wants to make your money stretch the longest, or like to get as much things as you can with a limited budget, which I think most of us have a limited budget unless you are super rich. So without further delay, let's jump into the topic. First of all, let's start with some English stuff, because for myself, I pre-ordered a case of Searching Spark when it is still in low 600s USD, shipping included, for myself. And since I think most of you have already know that we are going up into the 900 USD and before tax and everything, so for me it is pretty wild. I think that seeing the market this way, I also run around to a local guy who I pre-ordered a case of Prismatic Evolution ETB from, and I put down my deposit. Hopefully I will lock in my price, because like the person is someone this is the first time I deal with them, so hopefully I can get my pre-order in. But I believe that for where I live, the suppliers over here is different from the US ones, so I hope I can get my allocation. For me, I think that for English sealed, seeing this market, it makes a lot of sense to just buy it on pre-order or whenever you see pops up. And while I'm not sure about booster boxes, I still think that if you are buying in for like the Pokemon Center price, if I remember right, for the price for Scarlet and Violet era stuff is at 160 something, which I think is kind of high. But if you see pre-orders at low hundreds, I think that will be the price for a while, until we move into a new era, which maybe it is A and B, following the tradition. Maybe there are spoilers out there already, but I am not aware of that. So I think that before we get into Gen 10, before this year is over, or like the next year, everything is going to be in 100 low 100 as a pre-order, if they stay that way. And for some specialty set, for example the EV ones, it has already gone wild. So for some set, maybe MRSP isn't a bad idea, but for myself, I look at the downside. There are people who are saying the Surging Spark may end up be like 50 voltage, and I've made a video about that before too, but like my video is a long time ago, and when I say that the pre-run is unknown, and maybe Surging will get as big a pre-run as 50 voltage, but at that time there's no spoiler yet. And with how all the brick streams are doing, I doubt that we are going to see Surging Spark crashing back down to under 100. So anything in the low hundreds, I think it is a buy, because like the worst that can happen may be Paradox Rift or base set, just SV base set, which is like also in the low 90s. It will be a 10% down, but as long as you don't sell it, you are going to be fine, compared to the potential for a set to be releasing at MRSP or even higher. I think that it is not a bad idea to get in the low hundreds, shipped and maybe with tax. The guys shipping my stuff from US, I don't really pay sales tax on that. And for me selling locally, I don't pay tax either, because like different tax law. But regardless, I think that for still the English in the coming year or so, within the bull market, it will make a lot of sense to just buy when it is low, and still don't skip any set if you can get to it, and just accumulate stuff and maybe eventually sell it. I do think all of the Pokemon boxes we can see today is like they are going to be fine, but the time frame is unknown. So it is more important to make sure your life and your financial situation is fine before you make a move. Otherwise, if you can't keep holding on to your stuff and have to sell at the low points, you aren't going to be a happy camper. So let's move on to Japanese things. I have English singles to cover. I think that for singles, the market seems to be wild, as we can see with the Pikachu. I am kind of wondering whether it will make sense to pre-order the singles from Prismatic Evolution, because technically I think that the Eevees are maybe equal, if not more loved than Pikachu. At least I like the Eevees a lot more than Pikachu myself. And seeing the number of SAR and SR in the set, and for those people who like to collect all the Eevees, while Pikachu lovers and Latios lovers may not be the same people, I think that there is a chance the Eevees are going to go even higher after release. So it may make sense if it is within your budget to just pre-order something. You can go into the data from previous set to see how the SARs are doing, and the only unknown will be, because that the Eevee set is a specialty set, the pull rates may be different. I'm not sure, because like Crown Zenith is relatively easy to pull compared to the other Sword and Shield set at its time. So it is possible for the pull rates for the Eevees to be a bit easier compared to Surging Spark and like Temporal Forces up onward. I think that is possible. But given the number of SAR, it may not mean a lot if the chances of pulling a SAR on its own is lower, like i.e. easier. So it's still depending on your budget. And if you are, and this is talking about the raw card for all the slabs, I think that it is still worth it to waste. For me and my shop, I got some people asking why I don't have Japanese boxes closer to release day, and maybe this should be wait until the Japanese session. But for me, if I know that something will be cheaper a few months down the line, or with the potential of getting cheaper in the future, I will just wait it out until the price is where I want to buy something, and don't mind if it keeps dropping. So not sure about you, if you really like the Eevee, just compared to the previous pre-orders and the price. If it is not that far off, you may as well just pre-order that. I think that eventually the Eevees may go back to a normal range, as if we know that what normal is within this bull market. But yeah, just don't spend over your budget, because while everything seems to be going up from here, it doesn't mean everything, like literally everything is going to keep going up. So stay safe out there, because like singles, there's no MRSPs for singles, so there's no way to gauge whether you are buying it high or even higher. Like there are a lot of people saying that Moonbryon is not a $1,000 card and it is going to crash into maybe into the 500 range. But for now, as of recording, the Moonbryon is actually getting close to 2,000 USD. So I'm not sure whether this is one of the many effects of the bull market, or whether there are really that many people who wants one. I think that the population report of the Moonbryon may be high compared to other cars, But when you consider popularity and how many people are out there loving Pokemon, and kids who also like Pokemon, I think that having a population of like 10k or even 20,000 is not that much. I hope you are not hearing the weird noise out there, because like, I don't know, some machineries are going, and I hope it will solve itself soon enough. Anyway, let's move on to the Japanese side. I think that if you are looking to pre-order, I will, because of my location, there are quite a lot of proxy and reshipment service that will bring stuff my way. I think that it will be worth it for you to compare the premium, like the price of the EV set against, like, compare the price of your LGS to Pokemon Center in Japan. I suppose it is not that hard to find some shipment service that will bring stuff from Japan to US, and you may have to buy a few more. So maybe find a friend and see if you guys want to order together. For as far as I checked earlier today, there is a limit on ordering from Japan Pokemon Center, which is 5 boxes. And at 5,000, I forgot already after my little research, but like around 5,000 yen, you do your own conversion. I think it is like probably in the low 40s, depends on the conversion. And recently Japanese yen is kind of weak, so if you are not in Japan, you're pretty much getting a pretty good deal if you order directly from there compared to buying from US sellers. So for me, there is no rush in getting into Japanese product. I think that the EV set, while it is very popular, the Pokemon Center also know that it is pretty popular, and the Japanese side seems to be better at printing and making sure things are at a reasonable price, at least since the crazy 2021 2022 times. So I think that there is a high chance for this EV set to have a massive print run compared to the one on the English side, where everything, the ETB, the binder collection, poster collection, and every single thing with prismatic evolution are all sold out. The Japanese side is likely going to be a lot more stable, because even for Surging Spark in Japanese, which is split into 2 sets, one of it is the Dragon Paradise, and the other set, which is the Pikachu side, is Supercharged Breaker. Those boxes aren't that wild compared to how the set in English performs with regards to other set. For now, the Supercharged Breaker is still at like low 40s, or if you find a good shop, you can get them in the 40s, but in the 30s. So I think that there is a high chance that the EV set is just going to perform like Shiny Treasure EX, which I think it is one of the best value set to be opening. Despite the hard pull rate, it still got the Shiny Treasure and the Bubble Milk, which is worth a lot compared to how much the boxes are costing. And if you are local to me in Hong Kong, I am still selling those boxes. Check on my website, yada yada. And let's go back to the sets. I think that the EV set in Japanese Terrestrial Festival is likely going to start pre-ordering at 50s USD, in the mid 50s. Then it is likely to trend down into the 40s, or if the premium is really massive for a week or so, for a brief moment, it may dip into the high 30s. So if you like the cards, you can buy single. All of the art rare or illustration rare are going to be cheap relatively, so you can just buy single. Or if you enjoy pulling cards yourself, you may as well wait a few months I remember that when Shiny Treasure is first out, that while that is a different time, it still reflects how Japanese boxes tend to come out higher and drop quite some after a few months. So yeah, and looking at previous history, when Crown like 3-star universe is out, the limit to order on Pokemon Center Japan is like 2 boxes. But this time around, the EV set, the limit is 5. So I think that it's kind of served as a hint that the print size for the EVs is bigger. Therefore, PCJ is confident in letting people pre-ordering more, and they aren't selling out either. I'm not sure whether the system is set to not sell out, or there really is a lot of stock left, so they aren't selling out. But yeah, something to consider. And I see this for the future rocket sets too. In terms of the Japanese side, it is likely still going to come out higher, then smoothly trend down until it settles to like the other boxes before, for maybe a year or at least a year or something. Then the price slowly trends up again because of the decreasing supply. And in terms of Japanese singles, it is kind of similar to English singles, except that usually, like 99% of the time, Japanese cards are easier to grade, so the premium on the PSA 10 won't be that crazy. So if you are looking to pick up anything in the Japanese side, especially singles, I don't think that there is a need to pre-order it, even though the Pikachu from Supercharged Breaker is still trending up. I think that unless you are in a hurry to do your own grading play, you can just wait to get the card in a nice grade. And I think that this goes for a lot of market too, even in the video game space and something more. That if you want something early, you want early access, you kind of have to pay more. So, and for Pokemon cards, I think that for most people it is meant for entertainment. I know there's an element of chase, but if you want your money to stretch more, especially in this kind of crazy market, you may have to choose to wait on something. But yeah, so as a side note, I think that the English market is a lot more volatile than the Japanese side, because while there was great spike in Japanese cards too, in general, in terms of box prices, it is like fine, because maybe the base amount of the boxes is cheaper compared to most of the English boxes, except 151, which Japan has a very special feature with the Master Ball and Pokeball Holos, which I'm still selling to this day, and people seem to be looking for those to complete their binder even after a year or something since the set is out. So patience will get you places, but when it comes to buying my cards, I think you can take action right now. Yeah, so at the end of the video, I will plug my own stuff. Check out my website. I ship worldwide. We have mainly Japanese Pokemon stuff. We are recently adding in wise short singles too. So if you are interested in looking at stuff to complete your binder and give some love to some less shiny cardboard, feel free to check out my shop, follow, like, something like that, and I will see you again next time. Bye.